And what was I supposed to do? Born in 1948, just after the Second World War. Well, there were two things I was supposed to do. Any guesses?
Get married.
Yes, please. And have children. And did I tick those boxes? No, I didn't. And this surprises me because I know it was not right for me to do that. But how I knew that, I've no idea. But I didn't tick either of those boxes, and I'm really grateful because it wasn't my destiny. But not living the life that most women led at that time was very difficult. It was very anguishing for me. So a few years ago, I met a clairvoyant who told me I needed to write my autobiography. 40 years previously, another clairvoyant told me I ought to write my autobiography from 3 years old. So I thought, well, maybe I ought to do it then. And so, dauntingly, I did. So here we have a 3-year-old, I think, coming up. There she is, in ballet. I love my ballet classes. And how I decided to write my memoir was, publicity says late developer. Yes, I was a very late developer, and I managed to get my master's when I was 60, and became a psychotherapist. So I decided to look back at the little me going through the decades and choose the strands that were my false self, that I punished myself with, and that I see a lot of human beings punish themselves with because of the programming that we are given, and might have even ticked all the boxes, but still agonising over what's wrong with me. The shame, the hiding, pretending. So the true self and the false self was a journey that I needed to find for myself. I was always digging deeper, and I'm really grateful to having creativity and expression, because that was the way I could reach the depth I needed to reach to find what I needed to find for my authentic self. And that's what I want to share with you today. The authentic self, to me, is the voice of freedom, spontaneity, joy, and expression, and being okay in the world just as we are, perfectly imperfect. I'd just like to start with the prologue for the book Conversations with a Blank Canvas, From Nowhere to Somewhere. And who am I? Female, Jew, self-partnered, hospital receptionist, nonconformist mystic, actor, comedy, tragedy, singer, songwriter, guitarist, salesperson, sold everything but never managed to sell a kitchen, timeshare sales, Portugal, Spain, visual artist, painter, digital, Facebook, fashion, arts workshops, children, adults, nursing home activities organiser, mom, MA with merit, art psychotherapist, poet, film documentary subject, writer, and more. Into the unknown I leap and leap, into the core of who I am and who I am not. A magical mystery tour. So the first decade, of course, those are just labels. Who are we when we're not our label? That's a good question, isn't it? We don't know. Or we might do. It's a mystery. I then decided to do some abstract paintings. I was going into because I wasn't doing anything else, I was just painting at this time. Sadly, my mum had died, and I was in a state of just closing the door on the world and painting and painting and painting and painting. And I just wanted to go into the studio and paint what it was like to be me, either from the inside or external events that were going on in the world. And in the end, I've painted some 450 paintings over a very intense 15-year period. And then I came out of my studio and had to make sense of it all. But these are some of the abstract paintings that... And then the next one we have is this one, In My Own Light. And I could see myself really feeling that I was sitting in my own light, if you like. There was a dove there, or a bird, and earlier on in the book you see the bird is black and there's a baby in a bottle stuck. This is the opening, I think, of the cage, and there I am sitting in my own light. The darkness and also the light, the ladder to the spiritual world, and the dust of the studio texturally integrated into the painting. Thank you. And the next image. This image is the blank canvas, although they've all been blank canvases, but this one I was given, it's 7 foot by 5.5 foot. And I was asked if I'd like it, and I'd always wanted to work that big. But of course, how do you store these paintings, which is still a problem. Anyhow, I decided in questioning, and I had also joined Quakers at this time, I was questioning, how do I hold and celebrate life at the same time as so much suffering? You have a quasi-simple, quasi-complex artistic nature with a gift for receptiveness and guidance. Your work is buoyant, expressive, vigorous, and beautifully unself-conscious. Whatever you do, and however you do it in future, maintain your individuality, choosing the colours, shapes, and textures and subject matter that inspire you towards self-expression. Your artwork will probably combine very successfully with your music and poetry and the creative nature of your work. Disrespect any preconception of artist. Just do it. You have no one to answer to except an unidentified muse called freedom. Every now and then, set yourself a little exercise. Draw a piece of crumpled paper for discipline. You do need some parameters. She got me. And it warmed my heart because I had never been mirrored back in that way for being myself. And I'd just like to read you a quote from someone called Heidi Hinder Chadwick about our true selves and the shame that we have about hiding ourselves away. The more we shine out in all our human bittersweetness, the more the fire of that light burns away the shame that causes us to hide. Shame is what keeps us in the dark, cowering, judging, and believing we are not enough. When we embody and speak our truth, that's when we are in our divinity, our freedom, liberation, spaciousness. Thank you.